Hey folks, John from Complete Technology Solutions, your friend in the computer business. I'm pretty sure we've all been hiding under our rocks in this quarantine and trying to find things we can do to bide our time, right? Well, you guys remember on the last video, I went ahead and I created what I called the Atari Mini, which was basically a gaming machine built into an Atari cartridge, really, really small. And if you guys forgot about that, I'm going to go ahead and link that video up here so you can check it out. What I'm going to do today is I've been trying to test out a few different controllers for it. So I tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to break out the ones we've got. I'm going to show you what I use, and then we'll just test them out and see how they do. Hang tight. Here we go. Okay guys, so as you can see in front of me, I've got a whole bunch of different controllers here. Now, most of you guys have seen the larger standard controller. It looks kind of like an Xbox that I use on most of my Raspberry-based systems. And it works pretty much across the spectrum. So on the zeros, the twos, the threes, the 3B pluses, the fours, it works on all of them. But, you know, for the Pi Zero or the little Atari Minis, I wanted something unique, something that really said old system. So I went ahead and I'm going to test out a whole bunch of these old retro style controllers. Now the ones I typically use, I'm going to show Stumpy this one here. This is the one that I typically use. Now you'll notice that most of these are corded. Okay, that's kind of important. We are going to test this wireless version, but most of them are corded at the moment. So as you can see, it looks just like a regular old standard Nintendo. With the exception of, I do like the fact that it's got the shoulders. Some of the ones we're going to test don't have the shoulders, and that is a problem, as well as the standard start and select button, which, as most of you guys who know anything at all about Raspberries know, you got to have them to jump in and out of the different games. So that's actually a pretty big thing. And as you know, I've run into a problem with a couple of these that are like they're Sega based, which means that they didn't have that start and select button on them. Which is a little problematic, but I kind of found a workaround on that. So we'll get into that as we go along too. As you can see, I'm actually running this on one of the Atari Minis, but it's not in a Atari Mini. It's in this little 3D printed case right here. And I actually have printed some pretty cool cases for this, guys. I've made little castles and like all kinds of neat little stuff. One of these days, I'll probably do a demo on all this weird stuff I'm 3D printing. And as a lot of you guys have seen, the printers are either here or I've got some at the house that I also do printing on. So pretty fun stuff, I'll tell you. All right, so the way we're going to do this, and I'm going to go ahead and I've got Stumpy lined up on the TV over here. We're going to test this. The biggest problem that you've got with these controllers is either button sensitivity or lag. And lag's the one that drives me crazy. If you hit a button and there's a lag time between the time you hit it and the time an action happens, that's a death sentence in a lot of these games. You guys know that. So we're going to test this on one of my favorite and probably one of everybody's favorite games, Mario Brothers. And we'll go right to the very first Super Mario Brothers. And what I want to do is, we're not even going to do a lot of running around. I just want to see if there's a lag from the time you push the button to the time he actually jumps. And that's actually what you need to check out. So, all right, we're going to go in here and check this one out. Now first, and I'm going to put a link to all of these guys down here in the description. They're all Amazon based. You can find these, every single one of them on Amazon. That's where I'm picking them up. But I'm going to put a link to each one of them down in the description if you want to take a look at them. They're inexpensive. I mean, they're anywhere from, you know, $3 or $4 up to $20, depending on what you want to spend. So, all right. So here we go. Now what we're going to be looking for, guys, is we're going to be looking for time when I hit the button versus the time we see it happen on the screen. All right, so we're going to start the game. All right, so there's old Mario. What we're going to do is I'm going to turn this sideways so Stumpy can kind of see me over here. So here's the button. As you can see, there's a tiny bit of lag. Not much, but a tiny bit of lag. But it's not too bad. Other than that, the game controls feel pretty good. All the buttons do function. There's the run. By the way, I never claimed to be a Mario professional, so don't expect anything super from me here. But as you can see, everything is working. All the buttons do work. Now let's test our start and select. And that jumps out fine. Now, these are the standard controllers that I do use. This is the one that I typically use on almost all of my machines, for the Atari Minis anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to test the next controller. And this controller is called an iNNEXT. Once again, it's almost the exact same layout, as you can see, but the controller feels a lot more solid. It's a heavier controller. So what we're going to do is Since this is the same basic layout as the other one, we may be able to simply unplug the USB from this one, move it aside, plug the USB in from this one, and in theory, it should just work. Look at that, right off the bat. All right, so let's do the same thing. Let's go into Super Mario and start her up. Here we go. Yeah, I like the feel of this one. It's got some weight to it. This one feels very light and kind of, I don't want to say flimsy. It's pretty solid, but it's light. This one's actually got a little bit of weight to it. All right, here we go. So one thing we're going to do again, we're going to test that duration of button to jump. Ooh, that one feels pretty solid, guys. That's pretty instant. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but I mean, it's like button hit, jump happens. So that's good. All right, our runs are working. Not bad. Even the D-pad feels pretty good on this one. The other one's a little bit mushier. I mean, it's functional, but it's a little bit mushier. So let's see here. Let me see. Try a... Yeah, okay. So that's not bad. All right, so this is a decent controller. So I would probably put this rank number 2, definitely. So let's see if our start and select kick us out. And they do indeed. Now, for the next controller we're going to test, it's actually going to be one of these that looks kind of like a Sega controller. In order to test that, though, we're going to have to be able to recalibrate it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try something. I don't know if this is going to work or not, guys. We're going to go into our screen, our configure input here, all right? And we're going to tell it we want to configure the input. Then we're going to remove the USB port. This could throw this thing into disarray. Either this will work or I'm going to have to reboot the Raspberry. So we'll find out what happens here. All right, the next controller we're going to test actually looks like one of the Sega controllers. And this one actually it's pretty hefty. The cable's extremely hefty. I mean, that is incredibly thick. But the controller itself, as you can see, is very solid, got a nice quality, got a really good feel to the buttons. But once again, the start button, we have no select, which means that we're going to have to improvise on this. And what I'm going to probably do is make the Z button up here the select button. That way you can hit those two to jump out of the games. I don't know many games that use the Z button anyway, unless you're in some of the Sega games, but on the Raspberry Pi or on the Pitari Minis, we don't have any of the games that would use the Z button, I don't think. Maybe, but I'm not sure. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's see if we can get this calibrated since we've got this up like that. All right, here we go. Cross our fingers. Let's see what happens here. All right, controller is in. Look at that. It detected it right off the bat. All right, so we're going to calibrate what we can. Up, down, left, right. We're going to do our start here, but we're going to put our select on Z, okay? And then we'll go A, B, X, Y, and we have shoulders? No, we don't even have shoulders on this one, guys. Interesting. All right, so we're going to skip that, skip that, skip that, skip that. We don't really have any other buttons to program with the exception of C, and I'm not sure what we would put that on. But we'll look into that one too. Either way, typically on the games that I've got on this system, the D-pad, along with your start and select, and your at least 2 buttons, but in this case you have 4 for jump and attack and all that stuff, should be all you really need. All right, so now we've got our controller calibrated here, and let's take a look and see how it runs when it comes up here. All right, there we're going to be at. All right, now right off the bat, I can tell you it does feel kind of good. So let's see how this works. I have to get used to that layout. It's a little bit squirrely on this one, but we'll see. And I'll tell you one thing about these. This controller cable, as you guys can see, is incredibly long. These things are probably 3 to 4 feet long. This thing has got to be at least 6, maybe longer. This is a long cable. All right, so we're going to start the game. And there we go. Okay, so once again, as you can see, we had to use Z for our select and then start to start the game. All right, so the movement's good. All right, here we go with the jump. Let's test it. That's pretty good. I mean, if there's lag, it's almost imperceivable, guys. It's very, very small. All right, let's see how we move here. All right, B button's working good for the run. I got to say, it feels good in your hand, too. Come here, mushroom. All right. You know, for this, what you got to do is you're rolling your finger because you're holding the B to run. So that's one thing. Yeah, that feels pretty good, guys. There's nothing wrong with that at all. All right, so that actually goes down as a good one. All right. So let's see if our little trick with our starting our Z button work. There you go. So that breaks you back out to your game. So that worked out really well. All right, so far in terms of quality, I would definitely put this little black one because it just feels really good and there's zero lag. I would put this as the second best for sure. All right, now the next one we're going to do, we're going to have to recalibrate an input. So let's go ahead and get back to that screen. All right. And we want to configure our input, and we're going to leave it right there. All right, so let's unplug this one. Now, the next one, so this is definitely the second best one by far. I do enjoy that. I'd probably go ahead and put this at third best. So there you go, not too bad. All right, this is one I'm excited about, guys. This is a wireless version of these controllers. Now, I have been looking to do this for a long time. When I build these systems typically and I sell them here at the barn, I try to keep costs down as much as possible so that I can sell it to people as economically as possible, but still have the quality. I mean, it's got to be fun, otherwise what's the point, right? So I ran into these the other day, and now this company promises that this thing has zero lag on a wireless controller, which is, once again, would very much impress me if that's the case, but we're going to find out. All right, so we're going to crack this open and see what we've got in this bag here. Looks like we've got the controller itself and a couple of adapters. All right, that looks like a PlayStation adapter. Oh, that's a Nintendo adapter for an original Nintendo to adapt it. That's kind of cool. And this is the wireless transmitter for anything else. So for PC or for any of your other gaming machines, like for this case for Raspberries, you're going to use that little adapter. And I do like that. That's kind of small too. All right, so let's go ahead. Now, one thing about this that right off the bat I'm not super fond of, I wish this was battery powered and not rechargeable. Now, there's goods and bads about this. I mean, if you ran this, you could charge this up off of, probably a 1 amp charger on the side, and it would run just fine. The problem is that when this battery goes dead, you have to either charge it off the Raspberry or charge it off of a wall socket while you're playing. And we all know that can be kind of hit or miss. So let's go ahead. We're going to plug this in and see if it's got any power at all. And if not, we are going to have to charge it up and give it a shot. So let's get this plugged in. A little transmitter is really cute, guys. All right, there we go. And do we have an on-off switch or anything? Does not appear so. Just hit a button. All right, so let's see if it identifies it. Saw it right off the bat. No complaints here. Up, down, left, right, same thing. Start and select. Now, we do have shoulders. We also have a turbo and a clear button. Now, I don't know if we're going to calibrate the turbo and a clear or not. I'm not sure what you would program those for. So we're going to leave those blank at the moment. And we're just going to go on down the list here. Okay, there we go. Get rid of our analogs. The controller itself, guys, feels really good. I'm sure that the extra weight that I'm feeling on this is because of that internal battery. And if it works, fantastic. Like I said, the good thing is when you get the ones that actually have the battery packs on them, if they die, pop a battery in, you're back to gaming. And that's what I like. So, all right, so here we go. It does have a little LED light on it indicating power. Now, hopefully Stumpy will pick that up, but it's a really faint little light, but it does. There it is. Yeah. And I have no idea how long this battery is going to last. I haven't charged it, of course. It just came out of the box. So we're going to play a little bit. Let's see if there is any delay at this point. So let's do the same thing. We're going to stay with our Nintendos. We're going to stay with our Super Mario. And let's give this a shot and see what it does, shall we? Now, like I said, I've always seen a little bit of a lag when it comes to controllers like this, so I'm really hoping there won't be. All right, so our select is working fine. And let's start. Let's see what she does. All right, once again, here we go. You see that? Just a tiny bit, not a lot, guys. Actually, that's not too bad. Now, I don't want to get too fancy and, show you guys what a great Mario player I am, but, if I was in a crowd of one, I could probably win. One being me. This is not bad, guys. So you'll notice the lag time is very low. And the long jumps work, short jumps work. The run certainly works. And no complaints at all. Actually, for wireless controller, guys, I'm not seeing too many problems here. Except my poor skill on Mario. Gotta love that. Alright, well, since we're testing this anyway, let's check out one more of my favorite arcade games. Because I gotta tell you, I do like this one. If I charge this and I'm getting, 4 or 5 hours out of this charge, this may become my standard controller. So we're gonna go over here. I want to do, let's go with Galaga. One of everybody's favorite games. Everybody loves to play these. So let's check this out. And the thing about Galaga is it is a little taxing on the system, believe it or not, on these Pi Zeros, but on this one in particular, it runs really well. So let's see what we do here. Once again, we're looking for delay time between trigger button push and firing of the actual missile that you see on Galaga. So that's what we're looking for, guys. All right, here we go. All right, this should insert a coin. That's pretty quick, guys. All right, here we go. Let's see if this works. I'm feeling pretty good about it so far. Actually, guys, it's doing real well. It's firing about like Galaga generally does. But the movement is smooth. The fire button is responsive. Actually, no complaints at all. I got no excuse for messing up this game, guys. I'm actually pretty good at Galaga. Now, I wonder, I'm going to try something, guys. I'm going to hit this turbo button. It causes a double fire effect. Look at that. Aha! So the turbo does do something interesting. Okay, I like that. Very cool. That's one I had not experienced before. So I'm sure that in other games the turbo button would also do something as well, but it seems to work in this one. So let's check our get out of the game. There we go. There it is, and it's working beautifully. Hey, no complaints. So this actually is going to go down as my favorite controller at this point. Only drawback being, you got to charge it. Now the good news is, you can charge this off of the Raspberry while you're playing, but you got to be corded while you do it. So that's kind of a good thing, bad thing. I'm assuming you could probably plug this into a wall and charge it while you're playing anyway wirelessly, but I haven't tried that yet, so we'd have to see. But well, guys, thank you for watching. This was like a little bit of a demo of what I'd go through whenever I develop these. It's always about finding the best parts to put together to give the best possible machine at the lowest possible price for everybody out there. Because we're all gamers. We all love to have fun. We all love to play. Well, got a big one coming up next, guys. Please stay safe out there. I know we're all going stir crazy. I, for one, am going stir crazy. But I'm going to keep doing more videos next week. I've got a couple of them planned that are going to blow your mind. One of which I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to do it, but doggone it, I'm going to get it done. We'll see you guys soon. Stay safe. Have a great weekend, and we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.